That was me today.
Hello guys. Okay, I'm doing a multicultural speech today, and I guess number 1, 2,
3,
4, 5,
6.
Okay, thank you for joining me. Okay, I'm doing a speech on the coming of age rituals for different cultures. The process of becoming a man, ceremony or not, does not happen in a single moment. But rites of passage are important when a boy should start thinking of when he becomes a man. When he should start carrying himself as a man, when the community looks at him as a man, and when he should start taking on the responsibilities of a man. Many cultures have ceremonial rites of passage for manhood, and they feel that lacking these markers, young men often overstay their childhood, never sure when they really manned up. Today, most cultures in developed countries do not have ceremonies for boys into manhood. However, most boys lack these clear markers on their journey to becoming a man, and they will have a variety of answers when asked when the transition occurs. There are still many cultures, especially tribes, which do have ceremonial rites of passage. After reading an article I saw on artofmanliness.com, I found some interesting and bizarre different rituals and different ceremonies that other cultures have. While they can be offensive to our modern and Western societies, each of them were born into different cultures' beliefs of what made the man a man. In Vanuatu, a small island in the South Pacific, men take place in a yearly harvest ritual called land diving. Land diving among the Vanuatus dates back nearly 15 centuries. There are two purposes of rituals. One is they dive so they can have a bountiful yam crops, and the second one is their passage into manhood. Boys as young as 5 will engage in the ritual. The boys start jumping low, but the higher one goes, the more manlier he's considered. The people of the tribe build a makeshift tower out of wood and sticks, reaching heights over 100 feet sometimes. They then tie a vine to their ankle and one to the platform, and use all the courage they have to dive head first. And the goal is for their shoulders to touch the ground and without hurting themselves. So any miscalculations can be pretty fatal and dangerous. Now, if you're a male living in Ethiopia in the tribe of Hamar, to become a man, you'll have to jump over a herd of cattle. And not only men that have to endure these rituals, but women also do. And they get slashes on their back to begin the rituals until blood is drawn. And once the whipping ceremony of the young women is over, the tribe forms a circle around the herd of cattle, and they begin to sing and chant. They gather 4 of the largest bulls and then line them up side to side. The man-to-be is brought to the cattle and must jump onto the first back and run back and forth 3 times. When it's done, a shout is given, and he's now a man. Now, Native Americans of the Mandan tribe top the totem pole of the most intense rituals. The Mandan boy would fast for 3 days prior to the ceremony and cleanse his body of waste and impurities. On the day of the ritual, the elders would pierce his chest, shoulder, and back muscles with large wooden splints and attach ropes and hang him from the roof. Then he would be suspended by ropes and the splints and holding by the whole weight of his body. While hanging in the air, more splints were hammered through his arms, legs, and then skulls of dead ancestors were placed on the end of the splints. The boy was not allowed to cry out in pain or any agony from the ritual. And once he was passed out and unconscious from the loss of blood, then the elders would lower him but leave the splints in. And then after he woke, he would have to sacrifice a pinky. Then all the villagers would form a circle, and he'd run around the circle, and they would take turns grabbing the splints and ripping them out. At the end of the day, he was then a man. So, glad we didn't grow up in that tribe. Lucky for us, Americans do not have brutal or bizarre ways of confirming one as a man. Many rituals still do exist and are practiced in our culture. Some few rites of passages are still recognized within religious organizations. Whether a young man is confirmed into the Catholic Church, baptized, or celebrates his bar mitzvah, there's still a form of ceremony and recognition into manhood. Once thought to end in a man's 20s, at the latest, men are extending their adolescence into 30s, and in some sad cases, into their 40s. But in most cases, it's not their fault, more the fault of the culture. While almost every culture has a coming-of-age ritual, there's a diversity in what they are. all had something in common, an experience to pass the test into manhood, to show courage, endurance, and ability to control their emotions. Thank you. Do you have any questions about?
Yeah, what happened after they ripped those splints out?
Hopefully, I would think that they would still survive by that. That seems very brutal. I guess maybe they would pass out again unconsciously. I do not know, but he was a man at that point, so.
Man.
I would just have to be a little punk the rest of my life. There's
Not
no
become a
way.
man?
Now, the one that they're diving, are they diving over water or it's actually like?
No, it's not. It's onto the land because their shoulders have to touch the ground.
Little bungee jump without the bungee.
Yeah, it's not a bungee. It's a vine apparently, and these are still present day. These obviously are a long time ago, and that's for a reason. I'm
That
sure.
one almost sounds like the crucifixion.
It does. How they nailed it through his arms and his legs, and then they placed skulls on the end. So
I wouldn't think you'd have with all the blood loss, how you could even get up after all that.
And they could have
And then
pinky
run
off.
around
Yeah.
and cut your pinky off.
Well, did he cut his own pinky off, or did they cut it off for him?
They would cut it off for him.
Okay.
So basically, he just kind of got mutilated. It seemed like, and then.
So all the men in this culture are minus one pinky?
I guess so. Yeah.
Wow.
All got 9 fingers.
So what happens to the ones that decide they don't want to go through these rituals?
Or do
Does
they
it
have
say
it?
I
what
don't
they
know that
decide?
they would have a choice.
Probably don't
They
have a
probably
choice.
don't. They
I'd be
probably-
waiting till I was in
It's
40s.
just a part
though.
of life for them, I'm sure, you know.
They're
so.
doing it.
What if they, I mean, if they fail, I mean, if they still make them do it and they don't pass, or well, they probably die then. I was just thinking if they.
Yeah, I do not know about all that, honestly.
Okay.
Good
So
question.
how do they not crack their skull?
Then
What
they're gone.
if
They
you
don't
know, the
become a man.
calculations are wrong and-
Yeah, that's what Miss Cap, I guess it's the
Yeah.
risk of
Somehow
it, and that's to show you're manly for
Yeah.
taking that risk.
Oh, my.
Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We learned something.
We're glad we live here.